Hey, welcome back. This is Coach Parker, and this is another episode in my youth football coaching clinic series that I did for my home youth football league here in Keller, Texas. That's KYA Football. It's a great organization. If you have a chance to come by and check us out, or if you live in the North Texas DFW area, definitely check us out. Maybe your son or daughter would like to play football with us. But hey, today we're continuing on, like I said, the series, and today we're going to talk about defense. And defense wins championships. At the end of the day, a youth football defense that basically puts up a bunch of shutouts is really almost better than an offense. The boys and girls definitely love to play defense. It comes a little bit more natural. Nobody really likes to block all that much, but you can get pretty much all 11 on the field very interested in tackling and playing defense. And so a lot of folks forget this, and it doesn't look like Darrell Royal did. He's a Hall of Fame coach from the University of Texas back in the 1980s and 70s, I believe. And I was reading a book, and this quote came up: "You never lose a game if the opponent doesn't score." And I tell you, I've been playing and coaching football a long time, and when I read that quote, it a little light came on. That's a pretty big deal. So think about it, and you don't have to score too much on offense if your defense never lets your opponent score on offense. So, so remember, defense wins championships. Let's see. So for youth football defenses, I've got some goals that I normally like to set for my defense, and we'll talk about some of the defenses that I've used and have actually come up at a survey that I had on coachparker.org, which is my blog website. You should check it out. There's a lot of good information over there. But as far as my goals for defense is, the first thing is I don't want them to score on offense. That's pretty much a global goal. But we want to score on defense. You don't really think about that too much, but I really want to score on defense, either a safety, turnover, pick six kind of thing. So put that on the top of your list, and you'll start actually scoring on defense. You want to limit. I like to limit my any offensive play over 15 yards. So I want to take away really all of the offense's top plays. And the key for that is to stop the sweep in youth football. Passing is, not done effectively. I normally don't take a team seriously for passing. Matter of fact, I hope they do pass quite a bit, especially under the age 11 or 10, because the consistency isn't there, and I'm going to get the ball back probably in 4 to 6 downs. But really, my defenses are really to stop the sweep, contain the outside, because that's pretty much the big play on a youth football offense, reverses and counters kind of thing, and maybe a little pop pass. So those are the things that I want to do to make sure I limit any offensive play that's over 15 yards. And along with that, I want to create turnovers. Turnovers change the game. It definitely changes the momentum of a game. So you really want to try to get your defense to create a lot of turnovers, but not at the sacrifice of fundamental tackling. The overall goal is not to let them score, but I definitely like to keep a team with less than 7 points a game. And if you're playing a really good team, kind of the averages that I've seen over my 20 plus seasons coaching youth football is that if your defense can keep a team under 18 points, it will pretty much win the game, but that's too many points. I definitely don't like to give up that many. But also offensively, usually if they score 22.5 points, they win the game. So really, for me, though, is I want to try to keep a team under 7 points a game. The other thing, the goal on our defense is we want to use our hands better than our opponents. We want to grab, shove, pull, get away from our offensive blockers quickly into gaps. So we really stress on defense to the use of hands and fingers and grabbing cloth for tackles. So it's just not pushing out of bounds like NFL, and they don't really use their arms and hands so much as for some of the big hits. But we really want to get the kids using their hands and their fingers quite a bit. Look, on defense, I don't want any penalties. Offside penalties, especially from down linemen, just kill me, especially on 4th and 2. So we practice that quite a bit. Definitely no penalties on defense. I don't mind every now and then a pass interference penalty, just to save a touchdown, but definitely no stupid little offside penalties, and definitely no unsportsmanlike penalties. The other thing with on defense is to stop their top 2 running backs. I identify who those are. Also, we usually identify the key receiver on defense also. So you definitely want to make sure that you stop the top 2 running backs and their best receiver, and know where they are at all the time. And the other thing is to stop their 5 best plays. And that helps you limit plays over 15 yards. If you stop at the offense's 5 best plays, the offense coordinator is scratching his head wondering, what am I going to do next? So the key is to take away those 5 best plays where he has to, go down a little bit deeper in the playbook. And usually if you stop the 5 best plays, they're not going over and repping a lot of those other plays in practice because they normally don't have enough time, and you're sitting in a much better position. But to be able to stop the 2 best running backs and maybe the receiver and the 5 best plays is you've got to scout. And that's a big deal. I'm a defensive-oriented coach. I've coached defense a very long time, almost every season I've coached. And scouting is a big, big deal part of my youth football defenses. I know, tendencies and who top people are and best blockers kind of stuff. And so that's a big deal for setting up your youth football defense. But those are my goals usually going into week to week that I'm looking for my youth football defense to do. And globally, we want to play as a team. Team defense is definitely much better than individual defense. We want to pursue the ball well, play team defense, and make big tackles. If you can't make the form tackle, you can't do anything, make sure you get a hand on the guy, grab some cloth, hold him up so the team defense can pursue and help you with the tackle. At all costs, slow the running back down and make that tackle. So those are the goals that I usually go in with. Now, as far as the youth football defenses, a lot of these here on the right side of the chart came off my website survey, and these are kind of the top defenses that are run. I think they're in pretty good order here of what people use, but these are definitely some that I've used quite a bit. So the 6'2" wide tackle, great defense. Dave Caesar in his book talks about it quite a bit. Drew Tallman in another book that I've read on defenses is really big on the 6'2" wide tackle. And that kind of sold me. I was running a tight tackle, 6'2", and really moved into this wide tackle after reading a couple of resources on that. And I like that a little bit better. It really is a defense that helps with the sweep and any kind of off-tackle C-gap play there, and really sets up well. Because a lot of teams in youth football want to run wide, and that defense is really set up for wide kind of run plays. And most of these youth football defense, let me just make sure, these are set up to stop the run. And that's what you really should be looking at on youth football defense, is stop the run. Passes, they may be passing 10% or less, or even, 5%. So your defense doesn't have to be set up to stop the pass, especially under 9 or 8 years old. I mean, it's only going to be the 1% that you're going to run into a passing quarterback, and that's why the 6'2" wide tackle is pretty much top defense, and that's the one I actually use and prefer, although I use kind of a multifaceted 6'2". The next defense there is a 5'3" defense. Very, very many folks are familiar with the 5'3" or a 5'2" monster kind of defense. Many of us played that in high school, or a variation of that from the 1980s, late 70s, early 90s. That was very popular. I do like that 5'3" defense and the 5'2" monster defense, which is a variation of it for a 11, 12-year-old, 13-year-old kind of youth football team. There is a little bit more passing there. Your linebackers are a little bit more aware of reading. Below those ages, reading linebackers are kind of a God-given talent thing, that they have a nose for the ball. Not every, youth football linebacker knows how to read or stunt or do that very well. So I like to use a 5'3" as you get a bit older. I do also use a 5'3" maybe in 10-year-olds and 9-year-olds if I go into a pass defense, and I move into multi-formations there. And so the 5'3" and 5'2" are actually kind of my pass defenses in a lower age group deal, but not as my main base run defense. A 70 defense, really like the 70 defense for 5, 6, 7, 8-year-old defenses, youth football group teams. I've used the 70 quite a bit, and also the 6'1", because you just back the nose guard up into a linebacker position. So those two defenses I really, really like for younger age group teams. The Gap 8. Gap 8 I use actually in a lot of might teams, like a 5 and 6-year-old team will use a Gap 8, or I think Jack Reed's GAM, Gap Air Mirror defense. It's like a Gap 8 variation. They use those quite a bit for 5 and 6 and 7-year-old teams. They're very effective since those guys aren't really going to pass. I know a lot of youth organizations. I actually coached in one that actually would not let you run a Gap 8 on their lower tier age groups, because it just wasn't. No one actually could get out of the backfield. So Gap 8 is very effective. I use that on goal line on my teams. And it's very easy to move into a Gap 8 from a 6'2" wide tackle. Like I said, the 5'2" monster, similar to a 5'3" defense, just now you've got 2 linebackers, and now you've got kind of a D-back that's a blitzing back that kind of moves over, and it's kind of a hybrid linebacker, strong safety type back. The other thing that I really love out of a 6'2" wide tackle, and it is a standalone defense, but I also move into this too sometimes. It's a 3-3 stack. 3-3 stack is a great defense. It's basically a blitzing defense and an attacking defense, and it really is a nice defense for younger ages that don't pass quite a bit. It's hard to block, and if you get a team that is not very coordinated or consistent with their blocking assignments, especially at the first part of the season, a 3-3 stack will tear them up. The other thing was a 4-4 stack, or a split 4-4. That's a great defense, especially at a select level. If you're running a 44 split, you can do a lot of different cross blitzes and things with that. I prefer that for older groups again and select teams. So as far as that group there for my youth football defense, I really still prefer, as my defense there is the 6'2" wide tackle. If you are running that, you'll probably be able to handle 80% of everything you run into. So don't, if you're thinking about running, a 4-3 Dallas Cowboy kind of defense that's set up for pass defense, or even a 3 3.35 or something like that. Like I said, a lot of youth football players aren't very good linebackers and don't really have the speed to do that. So it's kind of difficult if you're going to do that. For me, consistency and efficiency of my players, the 6'2" wide tackle really lets me do everything I need to do. Plus, in the 6'2", you can hide some weaker players in the A-gap defensive guard positions, and that seems to work out good there. What am I looking for in a good youth football defense? I must be focused on stopping the run, sweeping off tackle plays, contain the reverse and counter. Like I said before, you must stop the run. And to do that, you really need 7+ in the box. That setting up for pass defense where you got a bunch of D-backs, that's not really going to work in youth football. I prefer an attacking and penetration type defense because I don't think the players read very well. So I'm sending my DNs, my contain guys, or outside linebackers, depending on what you call them. I'm sending my force contain guys on kind of a blitz package almost every play. And I want to create as much havoc as I can in the backfield before the backs really get a hold of the handoff and can kind of see where they're going. The other thing is my cornerbacks really, until they're seniors or kind of halfway through juniors, I have them focused on the run first. My free safety is focused on the pass. It's pretty much cover one up until maybe they're 11, 10 or 11, and there's some passing. And you can a lot of times get away with no free safety and blitz your free safety. So that's up to you. In the pass defenses there, you just really need to learn to stop the quick passes, the little pop pass or a little screen. And if you can do that, then that's really going to get through most recreational football leagues. Now, like I said, you may run into a team that has an exceptional passing quarterback and receiver, and you may have to actually set up a proper pass defense. Now, in 24 seasons, I've ran into maybe 2 quarterbacks and receiving cores that could pull that off. So that's a fairly low percentage there. So if you set up your defense for the percentages, a run-stopping defense is probably going to get you to the Super Bowl. And that's really, a lot of our goals is to get there. Defensive ends, we're outside linebackers, my contain guys. They're my containment. They're my best tacklers on the team. They're my smartest tacklers. I want them to be maniacs to get to the ball. I don't want them dropping back in coverage unless I've called a call to do that. So I want my defensive ends to be the best defensive players on the team. And then my two middle linebackers are also the best tacklers on the team and best pursuers, and really are some of the best kids that have the nose for the football. I want somebody that understands to go after the football and also know how to blitz and get through an open hole. So that's really what I'm looking for on my defenses there, and what a good youth football defense really should look like. Tackling nowadays, it's changing up from maybe 10 to 20 years ago. Fundamental tackling is really kind of changed, where we're just not putting our head on the ball anymore inside the man. We're trying to shoulder tackle, and that's kind of the key now, is shoulder body tackle and not lead with our head. And that's kind of the key. The two kind of main thoughts on fundamental tackling now, the USA Football heads-up tackling and the Seahawk tackling, those are both kind of keeping head out of the way and shoulder body tackling. Heads-up football, I've gone through the program when it first came out, understand what it is. I didn't really like it so much, and came across the Seahawk tackling a few years ago, and I have actually played rugby in the past and actually tackled quite a bit like this when I was in high school, and not knowing really what it was called. but it's the Seahawk tackling is a rugby style shoulder tackles. You really never get your head involved in the tackle. It's really a great system. I've been teaching that for about the last 2 years, and it's very, very effective if you're teaching, and a lot of the folks at KYA are using it now, and it's highly effective. But really, the takeaway from this particular slide is to really start teaching fundamentally to keep your head out of the tackle and more shoulder body tackle, and that way. So I'll put the links to the Seahawk tackling and the heads up tackling in the comments below, or on my blog. I know they're on my blog at coachparker.org, or on my Twitter feed at coachbarker_org. So that's it for fundamental tackling there. Let's see. So that ends our presentation on defense, and we'll move into special teams next. And special teams is definitely a way you can steal wins in football from a lot of inexperienced rookie youth football coaches. So thanks for joining me today. I hope you like the discussion on youth football defenses. I hope it's given you some ideas of maybe what you want to do. Also look, I'll be developing a video series on my 6-2 multi-defense. That should be out soon, in the next month or so. So stay tuned for that also. If you got any questions or comments, please leave them down below or on my WordPress blog. Would love to hear from you guys. What's working from you on defense, what's not. If you've got any issues or would like to have me look at something, would love to do that. Just shoot me a comment below. Please like or subscribe to the channel. That would be great. We're just now getting started and growing our YouTube channel. So if you get an opportunity, please do that. Once again, this is Coach Parker with coachparker.org. Remember to play for fun, and winning is funner. Thanks a lot. Have a great day.